Welcome to Live DAF, your online DAF Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem. Welcome back to today's DAF Hayomi Maseches Bava Kamma, DAF Gimel. We got up to DAF Beis, Amud Beis on the bottom, actually on the top of DAF Gimel, but perhaps let's go back a bit, just a couple of lines, to DAF Beis Amud Beis, 4 lines off the bottom. Now the Mishnah mentioned Arba'a Avos Nezikin, 4 primary forces of destruction. Incidentally, rather than saying Mazikin, things that damage, that wreak havoc on others, the Mishnah chooses the word Nizikin. And the Mepharshim explained because Nizikin is more of a conceptual reference. We're speaking about 4 concepts, 4 types of forces of destruction. In fact, the Gemara told us that within the first item, which is Shor, the ox, we have sort of 3 subsets. So Shor is like an umbrella encompassing 3 subsets. We have the Keren, damaging by way of his horns. We have the Regel, by way of his walking and stomping, and Shane, by way of eating and consuming. Okay, so Avos refers to forces of destruction which are mentioned in the Torah. And then we have the Teilodes, the derivatives, which we discussed a bit yesterday and furthermore today. We found Keren in the Torah, Ki Yigach Shor. Now let's proceed to Shein v'Regel, the other aspects of the animal's ability to wreak havoc, to damage. Shein v'Regel, says the Gemara, Hechel Ksivi, where do we find those sourced in the Psukim, the Sanya? The Pasuk says V'shilach, so I'll just read the Pasuk. Inside it says V'shilach es be'iroi, he will send off his animals, Ubier b'stei achar, which will consume in another person's field. The Sanya V'shilach, says the Gemara, Zeharegel. Actually, V'shilach is referring to damaging by stomping and walking and crushing something by the way. V'chein Omer, as the Pasuk in Yeshaya, we see it refers to the walking of the animals with this expression, Mishalchi Regel Hashar V'chamar. So we have Regel sourced in the Torah. When the Pasuk says Ubier b'stei achar, he consumed by way of chewing and eating. Ubier zu Hashem, V'chein Omer, we have a Pasuk, Kasher Yivair HaGolol Al Tumay. Golol, says Rashi, is a lotion of nigla, revelation, which is like, a tooth which is sometimes covered, sometimes revealed. Damaging by eating, by chewing, by consumption. Omar Mar, let's go back to what we just said. V'shilach zu haregel. Okay, referring to stomping and walking. V'chein oimer, mishalchi haregel, hashar v'chamor. The question is, why do we need to prove that point? Tama dukasav rachmana mishalchi regel, hashar v'chamor. So it's only due to the fact that you found another pasuk which supports your definition. That leads you to say that V'shilach is damaging by walking, by stomping. Without that support, without that pasuk, b'may mukmaslo, what then would you apply the pasuk of V'shilach espiroi to? Meaning, what is it referring to? What type of activity is the animal doing that's bringing damage? Keren, is it destroying by way of his horns? Ksiv. We already have a pasuk for Keren, Ki Yigach. Why the repetition? So that's out. Ishain, is it destroying by way of consumption? Ksiv. We have the next part of the pasuk, Ubier b'stei achar. So what would V'shilach be referring to? Which activity? Why do we need to support it from another? There's nothing left. Evidently, it's speaking about Regel. Istrich, says the Gemara, no, we do need that supportive pasuk to prove that it's Regel. Why? Perhaps I would say. Idi v'idi Hashem. Both parts of this pasuk. Ubir b'stei achar is Shein. And likewise, V'shilach is Shein. Why the repetition? I'll tell you. V'hada mechal yokarna. Ubir means, complete destruction. He's destroying the actual plants. That's a more severe damage. And that he's responsible for. Hadloi mechal yokarna. Perhaps V'shilach is the same activity, but not so severe. Just, ate off the other person's field, but didn't actually destroy his plantation. So perhaps it's just referring to two aspects. Less severe, more severe, two aspects of shein. That's why we need a raya. No. V'shilach asbiroi is regel. And that's supported from the pasuk, Meshalchi ha-regel, hashar v'chamar. So we have both in this pasuk, regel and shein. Now, v'hash tadu kimna a-regel. So once you've established that the shilach is going on regel, and Be'iroi is going on destruction by shein, by eating. So now, who says shein deloy machal yukarna minolan? Who says he's chayev for a shein that's not bringing absolute destruction, which is a lesser type of damage? Perhaps only the more severe damage is chayev, but not the lesser one. Do me the regel, because we compare shein to regel. My regel, just like by regel, there's no reason to differentiate, because by regel it just says mishalcha. It doesn't say ubir, complete destruction. So by regel, we assume it's all one and the same. Ma regel loishna mechal yukarna, what he brings complete destruction. Loishna loy mechal yukarna, or he doesn't destroy the actual principle, the item, he just damages it. He's still chayiv. Av shein, the same thing with shein. We compare the two, and we say loishna mechal yukarna, loishna loy mechal yukarna, whether it's this type or that type, he's chayiv. So bottom line, v'shilach is regel, all types, and Be'iroi is shein, all types. Omar. How do we know Ubir is shein? Ubir is shein, v'chenu oimer, and that's supported from a pasuk in Malachim. Kashiyavar hagal al tumay. Why do we need that supportive pasuk? Tama because Rachmana kashiyavar hagal al tumay. So you only know it because of that pasuk. Hol if not for that pasuk. But my ukimnala. What's left? Meaning Ubir b'steachar must be speaking about shein. There's nothing else that it can be referring to. Karen is referring to destruction by horns. Ksiv, we already have a pasuk for that. Ki yigach shoy, right? Regel, is it regel ksiv? We already have a pasuk for that as well. So the only thing left is shein. By default, it's shein, right? No, istrach. We need that supportive pasuk to prove it. Sakat atachmini, perhaps I would say either v'idi regel. Perhaps v'shilach is going on regel. Ubir is going on regel. Why the repetition? Two types. Ha the azlam amela. Ubir is speaking that the animal went for a walk on its own and destroyed. Ha the shalach shaluch. V'shilach means he sent it out deliberately. So we speak about different types of mazikim. Kamashmulan. That's what I would think. Comes the other pasuk and says no. Ubir is going on destruction by consumption by shein. V'hashad uki hashein. Oh, now we'll go the other way. Once we know that Ubir is shein, regel the azlam amela manila. If a shiach is going on regel, perhaps only if he deliberately sends it out. But if it goes on its own, who says it's chayiv? We'll connect it to shein. Do me the shein. We compare regel to shein. Ma shein, just like by shein, doesn't matter. It doesn't say v'shilach by shein. There's no basis for differentiation between by its ownership or when it was sent out, right? Ma shein, just like by shein, doesn't matter. Loishna shilcha shluchi, whether they only sent it out to eat. Loishna does mela or went on its own. He's still chayiv. Af regel, the same thing with regel. No differentiation. Loishna shilcha shluchi, loishna azam mela. Next question. V'lichtav rachmana v'shilach v'loy boy ubir. So now v'shilach is going on regel, ubir on shein. All types, all situations. Let the pasuk just say v'shilach, which is sort of a term that can be interpreted as a reference to regel and a reference to shein. Right? So it was sent out to destroy. V'lichtav rachmana v'shilach v'loy boy ubir. The mashma regel, it can mean regel, mashma shein. Why? Mashma regel, it can mean regel, d'chsiv, meshalchi ha-regel, right? Shara chamar. And can also mean shein, mashma shein, d'chsiv, we have another pasuk in Devarim. V'shen behemois ashalach bam. So we see ashalach by v'shen. So just say one expression, one term, v'shilach, which is all inclusive. Answers the Gemara. Ilav kro yiseder, because if not for that extra pasuk, v'shilach asbirui ubir, I would say, who says it includes both? Either or. Havamina oiha, it's either this or that. Oiha, either regel or shein. Oi regel dazekim matzi. Either we include regel because it's a very common occurrence due to the fact that the animal's always walking. Or perhaps it means shein because he's sort of, benefiting off the other person's losses, right? He's consuming the other person. So that's really an outright mazik. That's like the epitome of destruction. You're enjoying the other person's downfall. So perhaps it's this, but not regel. So one or the other. And I wouldn't know both. What do you mean? Michti shkul and hein. Look, he has a factor on his side, and he has a factor on his side. Right? Regel is a common thing, so that's a reason to be chayiv, and shein has the hanoah factor. So basically, they're both on equal footing. But you have and include them both. You have no right to exclude either one. The hayminai mafkas. Which one would you exclude? You have no reason to regard one to be less important than the other. So back to the question: why not just say v'shilach and apply it to regel and shein? The answer is like this: Itzrich, we need that special pasuk v'shilach and the other pasuk ubir. Sakat adachmena, perhaps I would say hani milei echad shalach shluchi, because remember v'shilach indicates that he was being sent out deliberately by the owner. So maybe there is chayiv. Aval azlam amelo loy, but if he just went on his own and destroyed and stomped and ate, perhaps there's no chayiv. Kamashmon, that's why we need the pasuk v'shilach and then ubir. Ubir has no indication of being sent out. So now we see there's no difference. That ubir means he ate, he did the shein memelo without being sent. He's chayiv. So then we go back to regel and we say, look, there's no difference by shein between this or that. So regel also is chayiv in all situations. So bottom line is like this: we found the source for regel and shein in the Torah. The pasuk says v'shilach has beiroi, that's regel, ubir b'steyacha, that's shein, and we don't differentiate between the animal going on its own or being sent out. We don't differentiate between whether he just damaged superficially or he destroyed the actual plantation. He's chayiv in all cases. So we have the primary, activities of destruction, the avos of keren, of shein, and regel, all sourced in the Torah. Now, Rav Papa told us yesterday that in certain cases, teilados, derivatives, subsets, are not treated as severely as the primary mazikim. So let's explore. What can possibly be considered a teilada of shein? We discussed teilada of keren yesterday. Today we go to shein, something which is similar to the father category. Teilada de shein mai. Remember, shein entails the animal enjoying his activity. So he scraped himself against the wall to alleviate, discomfort, lana asa, and by doing so, he collapsed the wall. Or another example, v'tinfa perois, lana asa. He was rolling around on perois in a playful manner. Again, he has the hana, and by doing so, he damaged the item. So these are very similar in nature to shein, and they're called teilades. But the question is, why should we not treat them as severely as the others? Actual consumption gives you hana. The animal is your possession, and therefore you have to guard it, and therefore you're chayiv. Haninami here as well, in these activities of scraping against the wall, etc., has the same elements. So why would you be pater? You're right. Allah told her the shein kishein. Teladas of shein are treated just like shein and you're chayiv. When Rav Papa says we differentiate between avos and teladas, it's not on keren or on shein, rather it's a telada de regel. Let's see, telada de regel mai. Give me an example of teladas of regel. Well, the classic a regel is, walking along, stomping, stepping over things. But a telada would be a similar act, which has similar, elements. He damages as he's walking along, not by stamping, but just like by pushing. Through its hair while he's walking, through the load on his shoulder, on his back, through its muzzle, through its bell, around its neck. So these damages which occur by way of walking, is similar to regel, but it's a teilada. So why would it be any less responsible? Says the Gemara. Maishna regel dezeke matzah. Look, what characterizes regel, the primary regel? Hezeke matzah. It's a common thing. Moinach, it's your possession that's doing the damage. Shmiras alech, and therefore you have to guard it. Haninam, here as well. Anything that happens through the animals, passing by, hezeke matzah, shmama moinach, shmiras alech. So why would you treat them differently? You're right, El Talada, the regel, is treated exactly like a regel. One more option. When Rav Papa tells us to differentiate between the Av and the Talada, it's not going on these. Atelada de bar. Okay, let's explore. What can possibly be considered the Talada of bar? Talada de bar manu. Ilema Av Yud, shall we say, that a 10 tefach deep pit that has the ability to actually kill a person or an animal is considered an Av. That's a primary pit. With Telada tes. But if it's only 9 tefach deep, not as deep, not as dangerous. That's called Telada. Can that be? Well, that can't be. Lo tes ksivi. Lo yud ksivi. Take a look at the psukim. You will not find anywhere any mention of 10 or 9. Well, says the Mohala Kasher, that could be answered like this. The pasuk indicates that the bar has the ability to kill an animal by falling into it. Right, we're speaking about an animal died. Right? So the pasuk refers to that. V'kimlu l'Rabbanan knew for a fact Yud Avdan Misa that only a tefach, which is 10 a bar, 10 tefach deep, has the ability to do that, to kill. Tes, if it's only 9 tefach deep, nezikan le'avdi. And nezikan avdi, it can damage, it can hurt. Misa le'avdi, it can't. It doesn't have the ability to kill. So perhaps that explains why Yud should be Av and Tas, a Telada. Well, says the Gemara, so if ultimately, you haven't really helped me much. Ze Av Lamisa, if it's 10 tefach deep, that's the primary killer. Vize Av L'Nezaken, when it's 9 tefach deep, he has full ability to damage, to hurt, to injure. So it's no less in stature. Why would that be considered Av, not a Tolda? I understand if it's 9 tefach, you're not responsible for Misa of an animal. But if it injured the animal, he's just as responsible as killing the animal in a 10 tefach deep bar. So relative to a 10 tefach bar, he's just as potent, just as responsible with respect to an izakin. So that can't be a teilata. Ella rather a avnoi sakine masoy. Picture a fellow who left his stone, his knife, his load, shenicham shesarab left in the middle of the street, viziku, and it caused damage. Perhaps that's the tolda that we're speaking about. Now, exactly what happened. He made them hefker. In this case, bein l'Rava, bein l'Shmuel hanabar. There's a machlekes Rav and Shmuel soon, but here all agree that if he left it out for all to take, that's your classic bar. He created some potential damage, middle of the street. That's not a teilada. That's a bar. Bar isn't just a pit below grade. Anything that can cause people to stumble, it's a bar. Vidlav Garino. Let's say he still is holding on to it. It's still his. Well, then it depends. Ilu Shmuel the Amar Kulam Bar Lamadu. So the Machlekes Rav and Shmuel. Shmuel says that all types of takalas, all types of trippers in the middle of the street, even if he doesn't make it hefker, he's still the owner. We learn it from bar. Kulam bar lamadu. It's chayv. Bar is chayv by these. Hainu bar. So if that's the case, it's just another example of bar. It's not a telada or anything that would make it less severe. Vila Rav, according to Rav, damar kulam mishar lamadu. Any type of takala in the street, which he was not mafker, which he still owns, cannot be learned from bar, which is hefker. Rather, we learn it from shar. Just like by the shar, which is your possession, which is mazik, you are responsible. The same thing with these items, right? So now we go back to Rav, right? So Rav says all the we go back to Shmuel, meaning, so again, he left this item in the street, which caused damage. Hefker, right? If he rendered it ownerless, all agree it's like a bur. And it's dealt with just as severely as the bur. It's not a telada, which would be reason to be, pater. If he still retained the ownership, so again, according to Shmuel, it's the same as any other bur. According to Rav, okay, we treat it like a shur, right? So again, there's no reason for it to be less, for him to be less responsible. Ma'ish no bur. Now go back to Shmuel, who treats this like a bur. So then again, there's no difference in terms of liability. Ma'ish no bur sheken tchilas asuyo shelo nezek. Its initial presence in its current location is a potential damager. And it's your mamain. Actually, Tosfos says lav dafka. Not necessarily so, because we're speaking about the bur which is not yours. So the Gemara is just like sort of, putting together the citing the formula, which has been the formula all along, your property, your possession. But here, actually, it's not yours. So the point is not the mamoinach, but the fact is that it's something which wreaks havoc and destruction. And therefore you're responsible for it. Haninami, here as well, with these items. When it was placed in the street, has a potential to injure, to damage. So of course you're chayiv. Okay, says the Gemara, let's back off. You're right. All these subsets of bar, just like bar, you're chayiv. Okay, we have another option. Rav Papa seemed to differentiate. He says, well, teiladas aren't always chayiv. A teilada the mave. It's going on something else. So we crossed off shar, we crossed off bar. Let's try mave. Now, what is mave? Finally, let's explore mave. Mainu. We have a machlekes once again between Rav and Shmuel as to the definition of mave. Shmuel holds that mave refers to an animal consuming by way of shein, eating, chewing. That's Shmuel's opinion. So shor in the Mishnah does not cover shein. Perhaps keren, perhaps regal, but not shein. So if mave is shein, hokimna told the shein ki shein. We already went through this before. A teilad of shein is treated like shein. So that can't be a candidate. Rav holds mave refers to a person, a human being, injuring, damaging, breaking. Okay, now my avos uma teiladis ispe. Give an example of an av and a tolda by the adam. Perhaps I'll say av ni'or tolda yoshen. If he damages while he's awake and cognizant, that's called the av. Telada means when he's asleep and not paying attention. He's chayiv, but that's called the telada because it wasn't, necessarily deliberately done, right? But that's untrue. Meaning you can't say that hezek during sleeping is any less liable. But tanan adam mod la'olam, person is fully responsible. Ben ben yashin, whether he's awake or whether he's asleep. Don't go to sleep near something you can break. So that's out. Another possibility would be he was mazik by way of his bodily fluids. So let's say a phlegm that he coughed up from his nose. So that caused hezek. So again, exactly how did this happen? You're suggesting this would be the teilada, right? Teilada of the adam. Exactly how? Give me the picture. If the hezek happened while they were sort of en route, so he coughed out this thing and it was mazik, the other person's item. So there's no reason for him to be potter. It's his energy, it's his koyach. And the koyach of a person is sort of an extension of himself. He's no less responsible for that than directly damaging. Well, let's say it landed and it made the area slippery and somebody slipped on it. So again, why would that be considered any less severe? Now he certainly is not retaining ownership of that, thing there, right? So whether it's Rab or Shmuel, everybody would agree this is your classic bur. And then he's for sure chayiv. Elo telada de Bava Kamma. You're right. We ran out of options. Any telada of mava, whether it's Rav's mava, which is Adam, whether it's Shmuel's mava, which is Shein Kemava, is treated like the original mava, is chayiv. Rav Papa, one more option. When Rav Papa spoke about the difference between the Av and the Tolda, I'll Tolda the Eish. Okay, next option. Tolda the Eish Ma'niu. Let's have some examples of Telada the Eish. Ilay ma avnei v'sakinim asoy. So Eish is the actual fire. What's a Telada the Eish? Okay, perhaps his stone, his knife, his load. But this time they were not placed on the street. Shanichan b'roish gagay. It's up on his roof. He placed them there and they fell off. V'naflavi b'ruch mitzuya v'ziku. A common wind, not like a stormy wind, a common wind came along and pushed them off the roof. V'ziku. And they were mazik. How exactly did this happen? If it happened as they were falling down, so it's like Eish. Why are we comparing this to a fire? Like, listen to this. Ma'ishna Eish, because there's no difference between this and Eish. Eish is characterized as follows. The koyach achem urav boy. A fire moves because of the ruach that's moving it. So it has that sort of external force co-joining the fire. And the fire was yours, right? You owned it. Therefore you have to watch it. You're chayev if you neglect to guard it. Haninam here as well with these items. I understand they're not fire, but they have similar elements to fire. It's a dangerous item which is being carried around by the koyach acher, and this time it's the wind as well. And it's your possession. And therefore you have to guard it. Otherwise you're chayev. So telada the eish should be treated exactly like the eish. You're right. Ela telada the eish ke'eish. We treat it like the eish. You're chayev. When Rav Papa differentiates between Av and Telada, it's not on this. Telada the regel. What do you mean? We discussed that already. Regel. Hoy kimno telada the regel keregel. Just a couple of minutes ago, we've concluded that telada the regel is treated like regel. There's no difference between the Av and the Telada. There's one case we haven't yet covered. So an animal's walking along, and as she's walking, she flicks. Not necessarily intentionally. Just as she's walking, some tzreiros, some pebbles get flicked around, and that causes damage. So it's not a direct stomp. It's sort of like a by the way type of mazik. And the halacha is, in that case, you only play half, 50%. B'chatzi nezek tzreiros. The hilchasa gemirla, we have halacha l'meishim you only chai 50%. That's the telada we were looking for. Instead of the direct hezek of the regel, you have the indirect nezek of tzreiros, which is considered a telada of regel. Why do we call it telada the regel? If in any case you're not paying 100% as you would by the regel. And Taisa says even though it's very similar to regel, using the same limb to damage, but ultimately in terms of liability it's very different. So why would you l'shalom in aliyah? Because it has a very strong element of similarity to regel. You see, in contrast to keren, damaging by horns, where at least the first couple of times around, he's only responsible to the maximum, value of his animal. If the animal's worth $100, you can't obligate him more than that. But when it comes to regel damages, you pay as much as it is. Min aliyah, from your own properties, the best of your properties. The same with tzreiros, although it appears to resemble in a way the damaging by horns because it's only 50% payment, but in terms of the maximum, ceiling of limitation here, there's no limitation. Meaning, even if the animal that caused this damage is worth very little, you still have to pay. You have to compensate fully. Up to 50% of the damages. Asks the Gemara. So that's your conclusion? When Rav Papa says Telada isn't necessarily treated like the Av, it's only this specific case. Telada the regel, such as the tzreiros, which is a telada of regel, but it's different than the av. Av pays 100%, this only pays 50%. But it still belongs with regel because of the din that's mishalim and aliyah. You pay from your own resources, irrespective of the perpetrator's value. Okay? But it's not so simple. Rava had this question. The boy Rava chatzin as tzroiris. When you pay this 50% for the tzroiris, migufe mishalim is it only to the maximum value of the perpetrator of the animal, or do you pay from your resources unlimited? So how can you state this as a definitive halacha? Well, the Rava wasn't sure about this, fine, but the Rav Papa had a clarity on that. That you pay min aliyah. Says the Gemara, but according to Rava, that wasn't clear about this. Amai kar told the regel. So why do we call it told the regel if it isn't necessarily like the regel with respect to paying from your aliyah, from your possession? The point which is a Rabban has a similarity in a different sense. How is the tzroiris compared to regel? Just like regel is putter if it occurs in the street. Animal belongs in the street. He only chayiv if he walks in the other person's backyard and stomps on something, but in the street you're putter. The same halacha applies to tzroiris. If it happens in the street, you're putter. Okay, so in summary, Rav Papa told us yesterday, in some cases, the telada is treated differently than the av. So first we went and explored all the sources, the psukim, would teach us the avos. Where we find the three avos included in the shar, right, the keren, the sheh, and the regel, we found the psukim. And then we went on to explore possible telades. And we discovered many options, but all of them lead to the same direction. They're just as responsible, they're just as, chayiv as the avos. So that took us all the way to the end of the sugya. We found one possibility, which is the tzroiris, which is similar to the regel, but it's less chayav based on Lochem Moshe Sinai. Now we mentioned the machlekes between Rav and Shmuel regarding the definition of maveh. Is it a person damaging, or is it the shein of the animal? Hamaveh vavhever. My maveh. Rav Amar maveh ze adam, a person who damages. Shmuel Amar maveh ze hashem, animal damaging by way of consumption. Rav Amar maveh ze adam. Why? Chsiv Amar Shomer. Hashem was the guardian of Klal Yisrael. Says, look, it's up to you. Do teshuvah, mend your ways, and you'll have the geula, which will bring light to the tzaddikim and darkness to the rishoyim. Amar asa boiker, morning will come agam laila, and darkness to the rishoyim. Im teboyin boyu, if you want, it's all about willpower. If you want, come and do teshuvah. So we find that boyu relates to a person. So boyu, willpower, that defines man. Ushmol amar mav ze hashem. No, it's going on the animal. Mav is an animal who's eating. The chsiv eich nechbasu esav niv umatzpunav. This is referring to Lasid Lavi, when the malchus of Edom, of Esav, will be destroyed. And how did they discover all his hidden treasures? Niv umatzpunav, his hidden things were going to be revealed. So we find that nivu is a reference to something that's revealed. My mashma, what does this pasuk mean? Kedem targum Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef explained. Tosef says he was an expert in targum and explaining the psukim. Echne is belish Esav is galmat meroi. Look, this very powerful empire. Look, it was the enemies found and destroyed and discovered all his treasures. So we see that nivu is his galim, revelation that's referring to something which gets revealed. In our case, the teeth of the animal, which are sometimes covered and sometimes revealed when he's engaged in eating. Why did Rav prefer his approach rather than Shmuel's approach that referring to the shein? Amalach, he says, look, miktani nive. Does the pasuk say niv'eh? It says maveh. I'm sorry, the Mishnah says maveh. Maveh sounds like he's being maveh something else, lashon of mafil, affecting something else. Niv'eh would sound like he's being uncovered. Doesn't say that in the Mishnah. So teeth uncovered, it would say nive, not maveh. Evidently, it's not going on that. Shmuel, my Tamalama Rav. Why did Shmuel prefer his approach rather than Rav? Amalach, he says, look, miktani boya, willpower, ratzon. If you want, it should say boya in the Mishnah. person who's defined by his ability to arouse his willpower. It says mav'eh. It's a totally different spelling, a different meaning. Okay, so the bottom line is, the words in the psukim don't perfectly match up the Mishnah in any case. Michti. Kroi loy kemar daiki, loy kemar daiki. It doesn't line up perfectly, not according to Rav or according to Shmuel. So, end of the day, why did they prefer their approach over their opponent? Rav my tamalam Shmuel. The reason why Rav didn't go with Shmuel, that Maveh is Shein, because he already discusses Shein in the Mishnah. Tana Shur, V'chol Milah is Shur. The first Av is Shur, which is all inclusive. Keren, Shein, and Regel. So why the repetition? Apparently, Maveh is Adam. Ushmuel Nami Atanali Shur. No. So what does Shmuel do with that question? Amar Rabbi Yehuda, I'll tell you. Tana Shur l'Ragla. When the Tana says Shur, Tana Shur l'Ragla, Karna, that's the horns. U'Maveh l'Shina. Maveh is referring to the Shein. Okay, so there's no repetition. One is the Keren, and one is the Shein. And now the Gemara will proceed and try to explain, based on this, how do we understand the next parts of the Mishnah? We have that whole back and forth. It should say one, and we know the other one, based on this pshat in the Mishnah. Okay, to be continued, Bez Hashem, tomorrow. All the best to you, and Hatzlacha Rabbah.